Hey guys, so today I want to talk to you about probiotics and common mistakes that people make when they are looking to purchase probiotics. And I want to do this to enable you to avoid them so that you are aware, okay? So here's a scenario for you. You are having a chat with a friend and you kind of turn to me and your friend sort of says, well, have you ever tried probiotics? I've heard that they really, really work well for people with eczema. It can be good, really good to help. And you're like, yeah, I've heard that so many times. Maybe it's something I should look into. So off you trot, you head down to the supermarket or you head online like most of us do nowadays. And you go and look for the probiotics, you Google search probiotics, and you're kind of faced with either shelves of or pages of probiotics. Oh my God, which one do I choose? What do I need? What does this mean? 50 billion? Surely that's far too many. This is ridiculous. I don't know what I'm looking for. And what I need you to know is that not all probiotics are created equal. In fact, what I've found is that so many people don't even know what probiotics are. So I thought I would cover that with you today as a start off, just to explain why the common mistakes that people make are being made. So probiotics are, for all intents and purposes, bacteria, right? And what you've got to remember is that we've got bacteria in us, on us, all over us, bacteria everywhere. In fact, we are made up more of bacterial cells than we are human cells. That is just absolutely crazy. When I heard that, I was like, my goodness, this is mental. But it's true. So what are they there for then? Well, they do a really, really good job. We wouldn't survive without them. We need these bacteria to help us digest our food, to produce vitamins. They help to, inform, they work with our immune system to allow our immune system to function properly. They do all sorts of things. They are everywhere. And what do we do as a species? We clean everything. Germs are our enemy. So we spend time just cleaning constantly. Dettol comes out, or the antibacterial hand wipes. We're constantly antibacterial, our hands and stuff like that. And what is that doing is, for your kids, their immune system is developing when they're a small child. And if they are not actually exposed to these bacterias, because we've cleaned, there's nothing there, then their immune system isn't going to be building up. It's not going to get strong. And this is a problem that has come about, and why we potentially have so many allergies is something that is being looked into as to why is there the prevalence of allergies and skin conditions and atopic issues. It's potentially because of all of this. We haven't built our immune systems anymore. We don't get exposed to these bacteria, which actually help us. We thought that they were a problem, but actually they're not. There are some bacteria that obviously cause huge problems, and we want to keep away from those. But for all intents and purposes, most of them, are actually pretty critical to our health. So what you've got to think about with bacteria is there's so much going on inside us. And you've got to think of it like there's a whole city in there. Specifically when we're talking gut, there's a lot going on. It's a metropolis, right? And these bacteria are constantly dying. They're constantly multiplying. We've got new ones being born. We've got some dying off. And after each meal, your population changes. It's so quick to happen. And so, we really got to nurture to look after it. So what happens is if you are constantly eating a meal that is sugar-laden, processed foods, stuff like that, you are actually delivering food to the bacteria in your gut. And the ones that eat that are often the bad bacteria, the ones that we don't want to grow into like strong populations. We want to kill them off. Well, not necessarily kill them all off, because we need a small amount there, but we've got to manage it. So if we have veg and fruit and things like that, that will nurture our good bacteria. It will give them the food that they need. But they can't necessarily thrive if we're constantly eating sugar and processed foods, because they don't get the nutrients that they need to actually live and function and grow and do what they need, do their job, basically. So back to the problems then. We're at the shop or we're online, and there's two types of people. I think there's the person that is going to look and go, well, I'm just going to get the cheapest and see what happens. I don't want to spend much on this. And then there's the other person that will be like, well, if it's cheap, it's not going to work. I'm going to go for the most expensive thing because that's obviously going to work for me. But neither of these might be what you need, unfortunately. So you can't necessarily go on price to know what is actually going to help you. So on top of that, we then assume that these pills that we're taking, the bacteria just get to where they're needed. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Now, we've been designed in a very, very special way. And when we eat our food goes into our stomach. And our stomach will mix it with acid to start breaking it down and things like that. And that acid is there to actually kill bacteria so that we don't get poisoned. Now, obviously, sometimes these things get through. However, our stomach acid is pretty good at doing that job. So we might be taking these probiotics, but if they're not designed to get through the stomach acid, then they're just going to die in your stomach, right? They're not going to go any further. They're not going to get into your gut, which is where you want them to get. So what you want to do is, when you are looking at probiotics, you want to pick brands with evidence that their probiotics reach the gut. And you can find this online quite easily if you sort of Google and do a bit of research. There are definitely brands out there where they have got their evidence on their website as well. So don't just look for on the box proven to reach the gut, because anybody can slap that on the box. You want to make sure that you have got research behind that, and there are companies out there that do that. Now, we're very lucky to have the kind of regulation and monitoring in Europe, the UK, where you can't just slap things on a box. You've got to prove it. But with the world that we live in, I can go and purchase probiotics that are made, somewhere far, far away, and they don't have the same regulations, and they can write what they want on the box. And, sometimes these things aren't even being sold by companies, they're being sold by individuals who've got like a bulk load of something from somewhere. And we are trusting these people. So when it comes to this kind of thing, you need to make sure that you're taking something with research, that it will get to where it's got to. Otherwise, you are wasting your money. Okay? Now, even if they get there, they might not be effective if you don't also give them the food that they need. So it's like sending your child off and not giving them a packed lunch for the day. If you're going to send probiotics in, you've got to be giving them what we would call prebiotics, which is basically their packed lunch. So that when they get to where you want them to get to, they've got something to eat to sustain themselves so that they can grow and multiply. Now, this could be packed in with the probiotic. So a lot of companies now will pack the pre and probiotics together so that even if you're not eating the healthiest of diets, they know that they're giving you prebiotics, so those probiotics are going to have some food to eat when they get to your gut. The other thing you can do is make sure that you are eating fruits and veggies and healthy options, and steering away from the sugars and the processed foods to make sure that you are giving your gut and the probiotics that you have just eaten the best possible chance of survival. Now, having said all of that, you might have chosen something which just isn't the strain that you need. You might already be populated with that particular strain, and that's not where your issue is coming from. Some people are very lucky and they hit on the strain that they need straight away, the probiotic strain. In which case, what's going to happen? How will you know this? Well, your symptoms are going to get worse, because what happens is when you get that probiotic in there and it starts to do its job and kill off the bad bacteria, you're going to get an effect from die-off of this bacteria because they're going to fight. They don't want to die, they want to survive. So what tends to happen is they start to release a lot of gas as they start to kind of die off and break down. So people end up with more bloating, flatulence, sometimes burping, things like that. There's a lot going on. And what do people do at this point? Oh, I feel so much worse. This probiotic's awful. I'm going to stop taking it. And that's not what you should be doing. You need to continue. It should only last for a couple of weeks, really. When I did this, I think my symptoms got worse for about a week before it noticeably started to get better. So it shouldn't be a long period of time that you are seeing your symptoms dive, all right? So stick to it if you get that response. If there is no change when you're taking the probiotic you're taking, then you probably didn't get the right strain. And so either you've got to pick yourself up and try something else or do a bit more research. And you can find online quite a lot of research out there into what strains of probiotic help with what different symptom pattern you are presenting with. This is actually what I help people with. So it depends on what your typical gut responses are on a daily basis, and we can work out and pick a probiotic that is probably going to be effective for you. So if you find that, I'm fed up of chancing this, I want to work with somebody, I want help to figure out what I need, then comment below this video and just put probiotic help and I'll reach out to you and we can chat and see how I can help you to figure out what is going on with either you, with your child, whatever is going on. So yeah, comment below, probiotic help. I hope this video has been helpful. Give me a thumbs up if you have found this info useful. And to be honest, this isn't just applicable to anybody with eczema. Probiotics are used for so many conditions nowadays, and these common mistakes are being made across the board. So make sure that you are doing your due diligence and make sure that you are getting the right probiotic for what is going on with you. That said, have a fantastic Saturday, everybody, and I will catch you all tomorrow. Bye.